and I'll never forget it in my mind, is when when they're wheeling him off into surgery, and I went with him as far as I could to hold his hand and to tell him he's going to be okay and it's not a big deal, kind of thing. He looks up at me and just staring in my eyes, and he says, "Daddy, can we play together again sometime?" And it's just, it was just so out of place, and why would he be saying that to me? And I was just kind of taken aback, and I thought, well, yeah, like in a couple hours when you wake up, it's, what's the big deal? And they wheel him off, and that's the last words that came out of his mouth. And to this day, it's still, it's just this imprint in my brain of looking down at him and hearing those words and just not knowing what it meant. But now this whole thing that's unfolded, there was something there that had greater meaning, and obviously, his life changed, our lives changed, but it's like he kind of knew that something was coming down.
On September 18th, 2010, a group of runners set out to run a 100-kilometer ultramarathon over several mountain passes in Kananaskis Country, Alberta, to raise awareness and funds for mitochondrial disease. The group was led by Calgarian Blaine Penny, who is the CEO of the charitable organization MitoCanada, and whose 6-year-old son Evan was diagnosed with mitochondrial disease 2 years ago. The disease has left Evan unable to walk, talk, or eat. There is currently no cure.
So 2.5 years ago, I had this great family of, a healthy little, 4-year-old boy and 2-year-old girl, and one morning we woke up and our lives changed forever. Evan was coming down with some sort of ailment and wasn't feeling well. We took him to the hospital, and they had a look at him, thought he was having appendicitis, and they took his appendix out, and his appendix was fine, but he wasn't. And he just shivered through the night, and he was just grinding his teeth, and his body was shaking, and I thought, it's really strange, like it's not that cold in here, and I look back now, his brain was undergoing like severe brain damage at that point. I was just lying there with him and had no idea, and it's just, it was only a little while ago that I actually sort of dawned on me that I was right there. I was holding him when he was going through that.
We can even draw on here. Bushback? The adventure racer in you is coming out.
Oh, hey, how are the other direction, like we don't want to finish a 100K run with 37K. You guys got to warm up for something like this, right?
No sense sitting in the office all day.
That's right.
No, not at all. We're on a road with now.
But it's mine hauling.
It's about 100K.
Okay, that's fine.
Emotions, right?
Okay.
90% of what I want to achieve is kind of done, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So now we're just isolating.
So it looks like winter.
Take this over plus 30 anyway. I know this run's not going to be hard enough for you, but just settle down now for a moment.
I'm absolutely petrified. Like I said, I've got Carl, who is a 100k champion from last week. I've got Rick, who's breaking records at ultra distance. I've got Blaine, who's the 50-mile champion, and there's me, who's a track runner who's done the old marathon. So it's really I think it's gonna hit me more than most.
At that point, he couldn't eat through his mouth as well, so he had a tubes down through his nose into his stomach for food and for medications, because he couldn't eat anymore, and of course he couldn't talk because because of the injury, he just lost all that motor control. So unfortunately, things just continued to slide. So we felt that something else was happening, and obviously the doctors did as well. And after more testing, Evan was diagnosed with a probable mitochondrial disease. And what happens is your body, if there's an acute situation where your body is being stressed, like you have a virus, or maybe it's surgery, or maybe it's an anesthetic, or whatever, if you have this underlying condition, it can be sitting kind of dormant. But when the body is stressed, it has this reaction where it can't produce the energy it needs. So it tells itself, okay, well, we got to conserve energy. So it starts to kind of shut down, the energy it's sending to some of the other cells. And in Evan's case, it happened to be a central nervous system, and it basically just kind of shut it down, and the result for him was severe brain damage. He's a quadriplegic that can barely hold his head up. He can no longer eat. He can no longer talk, and just struggles to put a smile on his face.
I'm a bit nervous about it snowing, and I said to him, "What did everyone think? It's gonna snow in the mountains, isn't it?"
So is this your beef jerky guy?
You know what? I'm going to try it. I think on this long length route for 15 hours, then
protein.
I've been working on just using gels.
Yes.
It looks like you just got broken up with, Ian.
Race day? Yeah, you can't go wrong with
Yeah,
beer in a green bottle.
I'm all for carbo loading, no question.
Cold beer.
Cold beer, scary map. Wow. Cheers. Cheers, man.
Cheers, all
To tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah,
And
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very stupid question. Isn't that the thing?
That's true. Do I need to carry bear spray on the spray lakes road?
No. With the group of 5, there's a statistic of, I think it's a group of 5 or group of 6, there's been no reported bear attack.
But equally, I don't want to be the first. Is it unreported because no one survived?
You're gonna come up with a team name.
I just like, it's all up here.
adventure
We got a
race.
long way to figure it out.
So what are we gonna do now to raise money? So we started out with planning a run from Jasper to Banff that got whittled down from Lake Louise to Banff. Yeah, we started out with that, and then so here we are. This is where we are. So you gotta start somewhere. And, have you done 100K before?
Nope.
You ready?
Yep. The most I've ever done is 55. So
Okay. Oh, you're
why
in
not
good
double
shape.
it?
Oh, totally.
I'm really excited about doing this 10-kilometer run tonight.
Bye. Bye.
Well, good luck with that. I'll see you in 10 to give you the bad news.
Okay. Oh, let's go. Come on.
Well, this is a great adventure,
That's gonna be good.
and I can't believe you pulled it off. Gentlemen,
On your mark.
start your life. Okay.
We've done 108 feet.
We haven't decided yet what the rule is.
It is a really good parallel between what we're doing and our lives with Evan. I mean, I feel like our life is an ultramarathon. Sometimes you just have to put one foot in front of the other, and you may be going pretty slow, but eventually when you put all those steps together, they add up to a kilometer, and then you do that all over again and you have 2 kilometers, and then do that all over again, and you keep adding to that, and you have this leg of a race that could be a 20-kilometer section through this brutal mountainous terrain. But you know what? You did it, because if you think about the whole thing, it's overwhelming. And so in our personal life, if we think about what we're dealing with Evan, it is overwhelming. We know we're gonna figure it out in time, but right now this is his immediate needs. So this is his first leg of this journey. everything we do, like every step we take, we're making choices, you know. And man, look at Evan. You know, I walk into Evan's room, is one of the first things I do in the morning, and I look at the little guy, and he has no choice at all. You know, he wakes up and he lies there till somebody comes in and says hello to him in the morning and changes his wet, dirty diaper. I'm sure he's just looking for affection and you know, someone to talk to him. And it makes you realize that his life is so hard in the fact that he just doesn't have that choice. You feel like you've taken for granted so many things in your life, and I think you commonly hear that from people who go through something like this. But truly, it really forced me to reevaluate my life and how I live my life so that I'm making the most of it.
All set? Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna head up between these mountains here. We curve to the right, head up towards Bueller Pass, and then drop down, and then we head up over Gwyn's Pass, and we drop down the other side into towards Galatea, and then out around Mount Kidd. Should be good. Oh boy, that's cool.
There are people who choose not to do things, but there are people who can do things.
Yeah.
And I think if you have the ability to choose and you don't do it because you're afraid or because it's going to be hard or because you don't think you can do it, then I think it pays to think about, you know, people who just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
So every time I'm out doing a run like this, I got a mental checklist of all kinds of people who are fighting this and fighting that.
So how far is that again, Duncan?
26.2 miles. Standard distance.
Right on. Duncan, can you let us know when you think you'll strap on the shoes and do another ultramarathon?
When hell freezes over.
Really?
Yes.
And why is that?
Because I hate it.
You hate it. Are you having fun today?
No, I am. I'm having lots of fun. But
Those two don't really go together. Can you explain yourself a little more, sir?
hang on, I'm the lawyer here. I'm having a lot of fun, but it's very tiring.
Yes.
And I'm too much of a whip.
I think so.
Yeehaw!
Having a positive attitude is paramount, and I think it's contagious. So I figure that if I can be positive around Evan, well, maybe that's going to help lift him up a bit too. And really, it could be worse. It could always be worse.
Right there, Mom.
When I look back at a picture or a video of Evan when he was healthy, like, it brings tears to my eyes in seconds, because how can such a healthy little boy go from being this bouncing little guy running around on his skis, doing all the things that, in this perfect world that we had envisioned for him, to, sitting in a wheelchair and drooling and not able to hold his head up, So yeah, it really reinforces that, okay, I have nothing to complain about, because, I've got a roof over my head, I've got a good job, I've got, a beautiful family, and we support each other, and we've got this network of friends that are incredible and have, come to our side to help us through this long road and journey we've gone down. And, all I have to do is be positive and do the best I can with my little guy, and help nurse him back to give him a life. I've had a great life, I've been very fortunate. He only got 4 years. It's just not fair.
This is what happens when you're running on empty.
If I could give you some of mine, I would, Ian.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll make it. It's all good.
We're at about 70K. Just starting to feel a bit of hurt here. But, I think we're all kind of thinking about Evan, and, he's such a tough kid. He's so strong, and the pennies are, they're just amazing, so positive, and, I think, we all kind of want to emulate that a little bit, and kind of drop on that to really finish this thing out.
That's a ridge. And down there, up and over, down, down, and down.
So you can work back around, on our way. Stretch.
Watch somebody suffer so much, you really wish that you could, take away some of that pain, and doing these things, there's part of me that actually really enjoys that pain, because I feel that, as tough as our day-to-day life is, Evan's life is so much harder, and he's dealing with so much more pain that you just kind of want to share in that pain a bit, and for me, by doing these things, I feel like I'm a little bit more at one with him. It may sound kind of weird, but it helps to try and relate to him, and for me, it kind of does.
It was just, it was really, really, really cool. I've always wanted to do it.
There's a lot of research guys who are thinking, what am I going to do? What, you know, you need exceptional people
Yeah.
to work on this kind of research.
Yeah.
And you raise the money for this kind of stuff, and maybe somebody watching this is inspired
And wants to say,
and
you know, I wanna,
yeah, you just need exceptional people out
Yeah.
there. Wow, what a day, though. Eh?
What a day.
It's easy to sit around and be negative and, you know, point at all the things that are not right in the world, but it takes someone with a little more strength and courage, I think, to say that, you know, that's a problem, but, you know, I'm going to help fix it.